he is king, the largest primate on Earth. Powerful and intimidating.
The gorilla is huge. These are big guys.
The males can get up to 400 pounds.
When they stand up or raise up, they can get about 6 feet tall.
They have an arm span of 6 to 7 feet. These are massive, massive animals. And yet, even with all that power, they are surprisingly peaceful.
Gorillas live in troops of up to 30 members, led by a mature, dominant male known as a silverback. He gets the largest share of food, even when resources are low, and has almost exclusive mating rights with every female in the troop. Serious perks. But for all the glory, he also carries a hefty responsibility.
The troop leader is really responsible for the decision-making of the group. You know, this is where we're gonna nest, this is where we're going to eat, but he's also responsible for protecting them.
He has a really big job looking after his family.
Every day, this alpha leads his troop through the Virunga Mountains in East Africa. They never sleep in the same spot twice.
If you stay in an area too long, then you're gonna completely deplete your resources and you're gonna have nothing left.
So they're kind of always moving on, you know, grazing from spot to spot to spot. But, you know, there's more than one troop of gorilla out there at a time, and so there's a chance that they'll bump into one another.
And that's when you'll start to see really this uncommon violence. And they'll try to mitigate it to start with, but if they get pushed too far, then they will get kind of nasty.
So what pushes an alpha over the edge?
Up-and-coming males might want to, you know, challenge the alpha for his position. The benefits of being alpha is access to those females. They're the ones having the babies, so he's siring the next generation of gorilla for years to come.
Gorillas learn to fight from a young age.
You're gonna see punches, you're gonna see biting, you're gonna see wrestling.
Their teeth are powerful weapons.
That is a scary mouth. Look at that skull. That strong skull, that houses some really strong jaw muscles that can chomp down and do some real damage to an enemy.
It looks incredibly rough, but it's all play for these youngsters.
We really think that these play fights really serve as an opportunity for young ones to earn their skills, to gain expertise, to build up muscle.
It's training for the violence they may encounter as adults, improving coordination, developing motor skills, and testing their own strength. After years of play fighting, this silverback is ready for the real deal. He wants dominant status and all the perks that come with it. He approaches the alpha, who rises to attention and sizes up his competition.
It's not always ideal for a gorilla or really any animal to get into conflict. It imposes a huge cost. Not only might you get injured, but you might also lose your dominant status. So they really have to weigh when it's appropriate to get into any sort of fight.
Before launching a physical attack, dominant males play the intimidation game.
What they want to do is show their strength and their prowess.
They pound their chest, cupping their hands to amplify the sound.
That sound, that thump, really communicates. It's what we call an honest signal. In other words, that signal tells you something true about that animal's size and condition.
The bigger the male, the lower the frequency of the thump.
So the rival gorilla might not even be directly in front of them, but just hearing that from a distance is like, oh, maybe I don't want to mess with that gorilla.
And if chest beating isn't enough to make an opponent scram,
they'll just do a full-on charge towards the opponent. And, you know, in and of itself, that's terrifying. Along with that, you might also see some pounding on the ground. They'll start grabbing vegetation and throwing it everywhere, just making this huge display, showing, you know, you didn't listen to me the first time, so now I'm gonna show you this is really what I'm capable of, and this is my last warning. If you don't listen to this, we're about to get in the fight.
For the dominant male, the stakes are sky high.
Gorillas are one of the many species that we see infanticide in. So if an incoming male wins, he might kill some of the older gorilla's existing offspring. And that can be disastrous because that's the end of his line. That's the end of his legacy. So when that's taken away, that is just the ultimate cost.
Today, the alpha won't have to pay that price. His threatening display scares the challenger off.
Sometimes the male will just throw his hands up and say, I've bit off more than I can chew here, and I need to just back off.
The heavyweight defender strides back to his troop. Today, he's a winner. But who knows who he'll meet in the forest tomorrow? From the largest primate to the largest member of the deer family, moose are imposing creatures.
Moose are huge. They're one of the big ones. They can get over 6 feet tall, which is about nearly 2 meters high from foot to shoulder, and they are heavy. They can get up to about 2,000 pounds, so nearly a ton in size.
And it's not just the body that's big. If you've got a male, you've got these great big antlers too. And they are not just like some tiny little horns sticking out the side. They are heavy, big pieces of weaponry.
Known as a rack, a set of antlers can weigh 90 pounds and be as wide as a person is tall. Every year, males grow a new set just for mating season.
By having a giant rack, a male gets to communicate without ever getting into a fight. Hey, females, I'm pretty big. You might like me. Hey, males, I'm pretty big. You probably don't want to fight me.
And as they mature, every year the antlers come back. And if they're doing good and staying healthy and eating well, those antlers will come back bigger and more beautiful year after year.
This bull is itching for love, quite literally. As his hormones shift into breeding gear, the soft, blood-filled skin, known as velvet, that helped his antlers grow, begins to shed.
If you see it, it's a pretty grisly sight. It's like rips of bloody fabric coming all off. It can be a little gross.
He looks like a bloody mess now, but within days, he scratches the dead skin off and emerges with a magnificent rack. But looks aren't everything. Smell is important too. And males create their own special brand of cologne.
A moose can dig a little pit, squat down, pee into that pit in a way so that the urine sprays back and hits the body.
It gives a signal to females that, okay, this male's in good condition. He probably will have some good genes to pass on to my offspring.
Now, as a human, you probably think peeing all over yourself is disgusting. I would never do that. But if you think about the things you do to try to be attractive, the effort you put into dressing yourself, fixing your hair, putting on your makeup, that is exactly what peeing on yourself does for moose. So, before you start poo-pooing their weird thing about peeing on themselves, how come you spent so much time fixing your hair?
Females like it so much, they'll fight each other for access to a prime urine pot. It can get feisty, but the nastiest bash-ups are between bulls as they compete for mating rights.
When bull moose fight, they mean business.
The breeding period is a really, really short period of time for moose. It's a quickly closing window for them. 85% of the pregnancies are gonna happen in a 10-day window from late September to early October.
Moose are solitary creatures, but during that short breeding window, they gather together.
The males will kind of come and show out, tussle with one another, size each other up. The females are hanging out on the edge, checking out who all the fellas are to see who's available.
To limit the competition, males try to scare each other off, bellowing out warning signals and aggressively raking their antlers across shrubs.
It creates this kind of clack, 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 clack sound. That's a signal to others in the area, to rival males, how big he is.
It's noisy, and males aren't the only ones making a racket.
When the females have something to say, it changes the whole dynamic.
This is a protest moan, a female's way of telling a suitor that she's just not into him.
In other words, she's like, no, not interested in you. And when that goes out into the environment, it really alerts bigger males in the area. Like literally, their ears perk up and go like, what's going on?
It has the effect that it makes all the males go nuts. Once they hear a female make that noise, they're like, there's a female who's not impressed around here somewhere. And so it's been shown in scientific studies that when a female makes that noise, the males all start fighting more.
She wants to make sure she has the best genetic contribution possible. And so strong males only need apply.
And that's a pretty powerful trick that a female can do to influence all the males that way.